This is the third mayoral nomination, and that would be correct. The utility board would be required to submit a list of 3 more persons, and it would be a council vote at that time.
You said that. All right. Yeah, that clears that. Thank you.
Sure.
I got a question for Dick too, like another one. You remember some time ago the ethics complaint I made?
Yes.
Am I ever going to get something on that?
Yes.
Thank you. Soon? Soon?
I hope so.
Okay. Now I have to come up and twist your arm or steal your cigar?
No, I'm going to get it done.
Okay.
And just so you know, we have discussed that, and I know Dick has been busy, but now, council, we,
Kay wants to finish, Mayor. Sorry.
Kay, I am sorry, I didn't see you.
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. My question or comment was along the same as Claude's, that today would be the third nomination, and the council would make the nomination the next meeting.
It is. Are there any other comments by council? Okay, let's go back to communications and petitions. This is a portion of the meeting where the members of the audience may speak subject to the guidelines provided. Well, the guidelines provided for this particular section would be you can comment on anything you wish. You have a 3-minute limit. Please address all comments to the chair. All right, state your name and address when you come to the podium. The podium is now open for discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. I thought I missed something.
I did.
I'm Deborah Williams. I live at 617 West 2nd North Street, and on Sunday night, one of the trees in the right-of-way fell. Fortunately, it fell across 2nd North, and it didn't fall across my house. That was about midnight, and by 6:30 in the morning, it was gone. I mean, people don't even, people say, I went by to look at that, but I don't know where a tree fell. So I commend the police department, who were there within 10 minutes, and the public works people that cleaned it up. Great job. I appreciate you.
Thank you for the comments. That's a good job.
Holly Mandarin, 2074 Northern Common. I forgot to add when I was up here before. I don't know how many of you have checked your email today from the message that Melissa sent attaching all of the statements that were presented last night. I just wanted to call your attention to the letter from Bob Martin, I believe that's the right name, from Comer Electric. Mr. Martin indicated in his letter his property is on the Massengale farm, that his buildings flood 2 to 3 times a year under current conditions. And he went on to describe what flood control measures they currently have, which probably are not adequate. The flooding problem on his property, he stated, comes from overflow on the Lowe's retention pond. And I drove down by Lowe's today on their side of their property where the garden center is located. There's a very large retention pond with a big pipe, and I'm not sure how to describe it. But he did say that his property is flooded under current conditions 2 to 3 times a year. So I just want you to keep that in mind as you give further consideration to the development of Massengale Springs. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Betsy Sidler, 24 North Economy Road. And I want to tell you, you just clued me in on something. It's Christmas in July for me because I have a big request. I did not realize that we now have budgeted funds to address blighted properties that need to be demolished. I know that my neighbors and I prepared a petition as per city ordinance and delivered it to the inspections department regarding the Fairway East and West apartments. I know that that is under new ownership, but over the past 10 years, we have complained repeatedly to the police department and the city codes enforcement officer and the sources that we thought that were an appropriate avenue to address those issues. The focus of the petition was per ordinance to question the habitability of those apartments. They have vegetation growing on the walls, in the walls, out of the walls, out of the ceilings, out of the carpet, and there are children that are living in these apartments. I think that this is a very dangerous situation. I know that the previous owner told me many times how proud he was to be a slumlord of this area. I think that, you know, from having spent so much time in my neighborhood lately, thank you, that it does not add any value to the city of Morristown. And as a resident, I do believe that it's time that we don't sit back and wait for yet another new owner to secure other new financing to turn something into other low-income housing, that there is a real problem that has been ongoing on this property for multiple years. It threatens the health, safety, and public health and welfare of the people that are currently inhabiting those apartments. And per ordinance, I would like to see the inspections department follow the letter of the law and have the health department actually inspect those apartments. This has been, you know, a month or so, well, it was back in March that I delivered this. It was supposed to have happened within 7 to 14 days from that point. So while we're looking specifically at my area as a whole and what threatens one of the more established areas in Morristown, I think it would be a good time to address this issue as well. But I, for one, am quite frankly out of patience with owners, developers, slumlords, and folks that have otherwise ignored their own blighted properties and left them as cesspools of criminal activity and things that impinge upon our quiet enjoyment of our property. So I, as a representative of all the people myself that are sick of this, ask you guys to please take whatever steps you can to encourage the inspections department to reach out to the health department and actually gain some traction on dealing with these properties and use that money to perhaps get them down. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments?
Linda Noe, 2343 Stevens Road. You have now rejected your 21st MUC appointment. I'm sure you're quite proud and you're ready to move on and appoint Mr. McGuffin, the only person in the whole town evidently who is capable of being on that board. I find it interesting, as Mr. Brooks mentioned, that 2 of you actually were on the council in 2001, and you are the ones among the other 3 at that time who voted to put this on a referendum and get the people's input. And 3,202 people said, okay, we like this. We will vote for everything that you could put on this one question. And MUC wanted it. They are the ones who proposed putting it all on one question. And I would hope that Mr. Jesse might clarify one thing, because I believe you asked about the advertisements that MUC did. Let me ask you this, those weren't information like this is what's on here and this is what it would do. Would you still have the same opinion if those signs and those advertisements said vote yes on the MUC question?
Now, Dick,
Well,
hold on a second. She's got a border on this one.
I will run the chair, and at this point, I will tell her that she is not to ask the city attorney.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Well, I'm waiting to find out where the question is.
That's the first.
All right. Now, at this point, what you may do, you
I am
may,
hoping one of you would perhaps ask for clarification
what you're not
on
permitted
that.
to do, Ms. Nolan, is ask questions. This is the comments section. You may ask questions of the city attorney after the meeting, but you may not ask them.
And that's fine, what I was asking is whether one of you might do that.
None of the council will answer that question. But you may ask them after
That's what I was asking you
the
to get clarification, Mr. Jesse.
You may get clarification.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions or any other comments? Come for comment.
I was glad that Kay was talking about all that interest money y'all were saving since you joined with the city, the county, and that you're a joint effort, city and county. Is that true? That you are a joint effort?
Are you speaking about the color plan?
Yes, the
Yes,
insurance.
it's
And
out.
that you saved $1,007,000.
Yes.
Okay, then I have a suggestion. If you want to save some more money, then quit letting those councilmen that sit on the council, the county commission and city council. I know you all are not 100% funding, but some of those county commissioners are. And I don't think anyone should have 100% funded insurance, not pay any kind of premium whatsoever. That's not fair to the taxpayers. Taxpayers have to pay their premium, and the county commission should have to pay theirs. And if city council gets 100% funded, they should have to pay some of their premium too, just like I do, $290 a month. That's not fair to the taxpayers. So think about that if you want to save any more money. Because we taxpayers sure would love to save some more and get them off of that 100% funded insurance. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Are there any other comments? Seeing none, we will close the communications and petitions section of the meeting. Are there any other comments by council? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned. We will have a 5-minute break and then
I appreciate the